Do you ever use Siri?
Sometimes I'll just be like, hey,
what do you
set
mainly
a timer?
Timers?
Yeah, set a timer when I need it.
Because the mainly I use it for music, and then I'll tell it like play songs by Four or play songs by Kendrick or whatever. But I noticed that Siri is hella inaccurate. And I'm like, for the technology, how much we pay for this motherfucker, which is over a G, for Siri not to work. And sometimes like I'll be in the car because I use Siri mainly when I'm driving. Because being able to just say, hey Siri, play this, instead of actually having to pick up my phone and shit, keep my eyes off the road and shit. But a lot of the times I be yelling and this bitch don't hear me. So I'm like, this shit is trash. And I seen a little, I think it was like a short, somebody said like that Android is better than iPhone, and they say that Android populates 70% over iPhone. So 70% of all people have Androids.
In the world?
I guess in the world, yeah. But I was like, when you hear that stat, because they're like, yeah, people love Android based on like technology and shit like that. But I think the reason why that is in the world is because of the cost. It's based on the cost, because the cost is hella cheap. So obviously, people are not going to buy an iPhone when they can buy an Android in these third world countries or other countries for way cheaper. Because if you look at the stats, in America, it's dominated by iPhone.
So, and it seems when you hit me with that, I thought it would be iPhone instead of Android, because every person that I come across and in contact with has an iPhone. Everyone. Like you look at them, it's weird. It's weird. I mean, not everyone. I wouldn't say everyone, but a big significant amount of people have iPhone over Android, and the people who don't have iPhone, they'll say, fuck that. I don't want to have that shit, too expensive. I can't afford that shit. So they rather spend the $400 because they're like, they don't see the difference between a $400 Android phone or a Google Pixel, whatever, compared to an iPhone, the latest iPhone.
Well, it's because it's like, what are you doing with your phone though? Like the majority of people are just using their phone for social media, music, and making calls and texts. And Android does all that, and plus does more. And like me, I like tech. Yeah, I have an iPhone, but I have an iPhone because I like to jailbreak it. I think like if iPhone found a way, like, because they have been trying to stop jailbreaking, letting people jailbreak, they always make updates that blocks whatever exploit people find. So if people like completely stop making jailbreaks, I don't know, I might go to Android.
What's the latest Android, you know?
I don't even know.
Because I think after...
But there's so many types though. Because there's the Galaxy, there's Pixel. Google Pixel is Android still, but it's made by Google. It's because Android is not like an exclusive software OS, and Apple is. Nobody can use that.
So it's probably like any company that makes phones can use the Android software in their phone.
Like you can put Android software on anything. That's why people put it on their Switch. I did too. You can put Android software on anything. So it's not like, but you can't put iPhone software on there. So I think it's because the people who made Android are like, go ahead. I don't know, but I don't know how that works.
I think after this phone, I'll probably go Android, or
I've seen Androids before. Our cousins have it, and it should look clean. And you would see like certain features that you don't see on iPhone, like the screen would curve on the corners. I mean, that sounds like it might break, but it should look clean. It looked hella clean when I seen it, and that was years ago. And I'd be seeing videos of people aiming at the moon and that zoom that they have.
Yeah.
So I think when it comes to iPhone and Android, it's clear that Android is better.
This episode is brought to you by Casa, Flores, Taqueria, and more. June 10th will no longer be the opening day. If you want to stay up to date for when they will open, you can follow their social media pages below. We will update you here as soon as we know more. But for now, let's get back to the podcast.
I seen this video today, and I was like, because like going back to everything we were saying last week, like there's a lot of crazy shit going on. And when I look at social media, because I was thinking, I was like, there's a lot of crazy shit going on in the world. But then I realized like all that shit only happens on social media. Like if I didn't have my phone, I would feel the same. Yet because I'm exposed to like a lot of shit by scrolling on TikTok or Facebook or whatever. Yeah, like I've been seeing a bunch of like people explaining where the aliens were in the Las Vegas video and stuff like that. And I can't see shit. I've seen multiple videos, I can't see shit. And there's multiple people highlighting different shit. And I'm like, I don't know. It seems like the world is worse. Internet makes it seem like it's worse than what it really is.
Because it just highlights the negative shit. But I think
well, it's like the negative shit just gets attention, huh?
Yeah, well, it's because that's what people like.
Yeah, people love negative shit. Yeah. Negative shit gets attention. And positive shit doesn't.
It does. It's just not at the level where the negative shit does. And because people is anger. Something about anger, it just fuels views. When people get angry, maybe because of the what's it called when people interact? Yeah, the interactions, the video gets comments, people battling back and forth. It just seems like people are more willing to type if they're angry than if they're happy.
I just feel like arguing back and forth with somebody online, I don't know if I've ever seen a back and forth in the comment section that got resolved. Like they came to an agreement like, oh yeah, I was wrong, you were right. Everybody's just like, there's no winning. So when I see that, people are just gonna argue forever. It's just a waste of time.
It reminds me when you say that, when I watched a video of these two dudes, they were arguing, like they were driving and someone cut someone off and then they stopped at a red light, they got out, they started fighting for like 15-20 seconds, boom boom boom, and they got their hits in. And then one of them fell, and then he got up, and then he's like, all right, man. And he's like, sorry. And the dude's like, oh, don't worry about it. And then they shook hands, and they got back in their car. And then dude's like, this no longer exists.
Yeah, there's no like there's certain people that I've seen who will knock a motherfucker out and then pick him up, and then like be nice to him, make sure you get home safe, shit like that. And I'm like, that's like that's crazy when two people, even though you just fought this person, you're angry at him, you just slept him, and then you still want to make sure he's all right. I seen a dude where he was big ass motherfucker was coming up against probably like a 5 foot person, 5 foot, probably like 5'8", and the other dude seemed like 6 foot something, and the other dude was warning him about like he's an MMA fighter or some shit like that, and the dude didn't care, so the dude rushed him, and then the MMA dude, he got to him and quickly got his neck, and then he started choking the shit out of him. And then they were like, let him go. And he's like, I'm going to let him go. He said, I'm going to let him go in 3 seconds. He was choking the fuck out of him. He's like, don't worry, I'm going to let him go in 3 seconds. And then 3 seconds go by, and he's sleeping, and he puts him down. And he just does that and leaves. And I'm like, that's hella useful, huh? Because he knows that, yeah, he's going to go night-night, but he's not going to die. You know, he knows, okay, put him to sleep, let him go. Like how Nate did.
Does that not
I'm pretty sure that
some
does
type
something.
of like brain damage or to suffocate someone until they
pass
out?
I don't think it like causes, well, because we see it all the time in MMA, right? So if it was like severe, I just think because you lose the circulation from
yeah, I don't know. I have no idea if it does or doesn't do anything, but when nowadays it seems like if you're gonna fight anyone, more than likely you're gonna end up on the floor, and whoever's on top usually is the person who's gonna end up winning because it's all brutal defense if you're on the floor, unless you're like good at jiu-jitsu or somewhere you can freaking get out of it or fucking do some type of submission from your back.
I think it's hella useful to know how to defend yourself, but nowadays where people don't fight no more, it seems like to initiate a fight, it just seems like you're taking a risk, huh? Because if you don't know what the fuck that motherfucker has, so to initiate any fight, it just seems like it's too much risk.
Yeah, now it seems yeah. So but still though, it's like even violence. I don't feel like it's the move. I feel like violence is only the move when there's no other way. When a dude is coming at you, I think if you can evade conflict as far as physicality, you should attempt to at all costs, unless it's like you can't avoid it. Unless he like touch your ass and then kiss you in the cheek, and then 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 you can't, like, there's that level of disrespect requires you to do some type of physical.
To hit him or something?
Yeah. Like, you gotta bite his little ear off or something. Mike Tyson his ass.
Going back to this video, I watched this video, I seen it, and I was like, oh shit, like, going back to, like, some people don't give a fuck, and I wanted to see what you think about it. So there's this dude, I don't even know, like, there's not a lot of backstory to this, but there's this dude just destroying property.
He threw a rock at the window or something?
Yeah, he's throwing rocks at windows, because he was throwing rocks at that first house. Now he's going to the second house. I don't know, like, what the fuck pissed him off. But it seemed like these guys were being cool with him. Just telling them, like, don't do that shit.
Watch out.
Once they seen him start hitting this shit, they're like, I don't know. See, because he broke. That's one window.
Hey, come on.
Ooh. Boom. Look at him. That guy don't give a fuck. Look. So I'm like, okay, you pinned him, right? Look what he does. He leaves the golf cart on top of him. Like, at this point, you're kind of killing him now. Right? Because, why did that shit
Those
get
bitches are heavy, though. I'm sure you can kill somebody with that.
Let's go back, yeah. So this video ended faster than the video I seen. But he leaves him on top of him, I'm assuming, so when the cops come. But wouldn't that be murder? Because, like, I don't know who that is, but let's assume that's security. Like, because that doesn't look like a police officer. And even if he was, he's not uniformed, so he's off duty, which doesn't count. So if that's a security guard, your job is to observe and report. Not to run a motherfucker over and almost kill him. And especially you hit him, right? You stopped him, and then you leave the cart on him. And for sure, he probably can't breathe in there.
Well, and then also, I don't know how those are set up as far as, like, the exhaust. That shit's hot. If it's on his ass, that shit's hot. So if it's burning him and he just leave it on him, yeah, I don't think this is a smart move on the dude in the green, because if the guy decides to sue, he could probably get something from him because he ran his ass over. Because what do they say? I guess it depends on which state you are too, because some states are more like defend your property type shit, whatever, like Texas. But yeah.
I was thinking that this might be attempted murder. Because you know how it's crazy how the law works though. Because if, like, you know how, like, somebody comes in your house, you shoot them in the back type shit, you're just murder. And it's crazy, even though they initiated this interaction and you defend yourself, you can get charged with murder. Now, like this, I mean, he ran him over. So, I mean, did he have to run him over? Because people would say he was a danger. Like, right there, they would say he was throwing shit. He was a danger to the public.
Well, because he was throwing fucking huge ass fucking bricks or whatever they were. And you don't know if there's a kid in that room. Smack a kid with a brick, you could kill him. So I think force is justified.
At times?
At that right there. Force is justified, but not with a cart. Look, there's 3 dudes there. And that dude was pretty skinny.
But it's not their job.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If you want to run somebody with a golf cart, I would say you could fight them. That's the appropriate level of force is fight him, fight his ass. If 3 of them 3-on-1, like if you was doing that shit to my window, I'll probably just fight him. I wouldn't run him over with a car or a golf cart or nothing. There's no need to draw weapons unless he had a weapon in his hand.
I think a lot of people would probably shoot him if that was their house.
And then if they shot him, if he had the dudes were like inside the house, and this dude's throwing, I guess I don't. That would suck for anybody to die, but it's like you can't. Like, what? It's a dude's fault. It's a dude's fault for initiating fucking home destruction.
A lot of people would say this is justified. This motherfucker was being an asshole. This was justified.
Like, he got what he deserved. Yeah. But I don't know that dude. And I just don't, that shit, to hit him with a cart.
I think violence, even though I don't like it, at times is necessary. And it's just how people learn. It's some people will not learn until you smack them, and like sometimes you can't get to them with words. A lot of people will be in your face and talk a lot of shit until you smack them, and then they get that realization hits, huh? Like I don't need a smack in the face. I can acknowledge the situation, and I'm willing to communicate and talk with people. If we have an issue, we don't have to fight.
You need to though. Violence is required because we're humans.
At times,
it's required. Yeah, at times it's required.
But I think most of civilization can handle shit with words, and can come to
compromise.
Yeah, like can come to an agreement. But like some people, they're just not going to be. But like it is wrong to just something happens and your first response is violence, because that means there's no level of control in you. Just that's the only way you know how to settle things. And people have this this attitude or this way of like, yeah, I'm on my macho shit, right? Like if you did something to me and I quickly smack you, there's like a
pride.
There's like, yeah, there's something associated with that, where people applaud you. Like certain people, not good people, but people will definitely applaud you because they'll be like, oh yeah, you about this or some shit like that. You get props for being a bad person. And it's like, instead of saying like, nah, you can't be acting like that. You gotta have a level of control. But it's because people will say, if you don't do nothing, people will be like, you a bitch. And it's like you. That's why you can't go off people, because people will fucking land you in jail. If you keep listening to motherfuckers, they'll land you in jail quickly. And when you're in jail or prison, ain't nobody gonna take you out. Don't matter who your best friend is. Don't matter who the fuck were you riding with. Huh? You're in jail for whatever long you are. And jail,
and you're on your own. For sure.
Yeah, and prison is just ain't worth it. Fuck that. I don't want to spend a day in prison if I don't have to. Fuck that. Not even a day. What's the point if I can avoid it?
A salesman at work was like, "Hey, if I give you $1 million," he said, $1 million. I'll give you $1 million. You hop in this pickup truck right here, and you drive it 10 minutes away, and you park it in a parking lot, and then you walk away for $1 million. And I'm like, it's not worth it. I'm not sure. I said, what's in the van? What's in the pickup truck? And he's like, black tar heroin.
Oh shit.
I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm supposed to just go off the hope you're gonna give me $100 million?
Yeah.
It's not worth it. It sounds like a setup to me. I'm not doing it. And he's like, you do it. I'm not doing that shit.
Yeah, it's not worth it. Shit like
it's not worth it. Like jail, prison is not worth no freaking promise of $1 million.
Because when you think about it, we're like, how much money would it take for you to be like, okay, I'll do a year in prison? Somebody's like, I'll give you an amount. How much you need for a year? Because if I think about it, that's what I was saying. I don't think it's worth it. And people would say like, the reason why it's not worth it is because I value my time. Because you can be like, yeah, give me $1 million, but because life, the way life is, I don't know when I'm gonna die. That could be my last year. You know,
and you want to spend it in prison.
I end up spending it in prison, and then I come out, and a month later I die after I made the $1 million. So it's like, I just value my time. Yeah, but people be like, "Shut up, you do it." Like,
hell nah, jail's not. I'm not meant for jail. Hell nah, they'll clap me up.
No, nobody is meant for jail. I watched this other video that I wanted to show you too. And when I seen this video, it hit me. It hit me because it was like, I could relate in a way, and just watching this video, it just reminded me of like the people I've seen growing up, and I was like, damn, like this shit's real. And this video, it tells you in the beginning who it was shot by, but it's basically a photographer. I'll say her name because we'll pop up, but it's a photographer who took pictures of Mexicans every day as they go to work. And as you can see, it's like a drone shot or something like that. I don't know, but it's like something like that. But let's watch the video and then we'll talk about it.
These people are going to work?
Yeah.
Why are they in the truck?
Because a lot of times that's how they ride to the field. What do you mean?
I didn't know that. This is Mexico or this is in the US?
No, I don't know where this is. But when I seen this, I'm like, damn, because I'm like, there's so much. That's it. Thought it was a little longer. But when I seen this, I was like, there's so much people that they do this shit every day, and it seems like we're still working, but like not in the way like this no more. You know, like when we used to ride
yeah,
and like they used to ride in the truck to go to the fields
in
all
the morning,
together, packed.
Yeah,
and in the back of the bed too.
In the morning, you would go to sleep. Remember how we would drive and you would sleep in the passenger, and while I drove, or when we were younger, and we all got in the van and we would drive like the 30-minute drive to work. And everybody would huddle together and people would go to sleep. Some people would drink their coffee and whatever they were having. But yeah,
my shit was like, this is hella sad because I'm like, people don't escape this shit. Like people do this forever for 20, 30 years. And especially because, you know, like, there's this dude smiling, you know, there's dudes who are smiling, you know, and you know, they're working long ass hours and shit like that. And it just shows you like, it's crazy because it's just almost like, there's so much more to life, and there's so many people, not just Mexicans, but there's so many people who I feel like get robbed of it, who don't get to experience it. Like, and it just seems like so unfair when I see that shit. And especially with this, the reason why this hit me more is because I can relate to it. Like I seen it. And when you're in that, when you're in that day to day, you don't really like analyze it to like, but when you can look back on it and when you see it, like being all dirty head to toe, like like a lot of times, remember, like when you see Mexicans, they go to the store and they're dirty, hella dirty. And a lot of people look down upon Mexicans and shit, like, you dirty ass motherfucker. And there are some people who can recognize, be like, that's a hardworking man right there. And there's a respect for that. But like for somebody else to down talk somebody like that who's going through it, or like this is their life, it just seems hella wrong.
People, I guess you are right, because when you are living that, the day to day seems like it's repetitive.
It just is what it is.
Same shit. But because you know you have bills and shit got to get paid, and this is the best income you've come across, there is no other thing. And so that's just your life. You work shit ton of hours, and
you just accept it. And then you grow up and you're still doing it.
The thought of a vacation or the thought of going to a different country to experience whatever doesn't even exist, huh? It's just go to work, come home, go to work, come home until you die.
Yeah. And like and especially because you see a lot of people who work in the fields and shit like that. And you know how like in Florida that shit was happening about like a lot of people stopped working there and shit like that. A bunch of white people went and started working there and didn't make it to lunch. So it's like they were saying like, this too hard, whatever. So it just shows you like, I don't think nobody should be doing that shit. We need robots for that shit. But when I see it, it's like, yeah, they have a better life here than they have in Mexico. But it's like they don't like the sacrifices one has to make. And even not just coming to America, just being in Mexico, there's plenty of people who work in the fields. And it just seems like, damn, that shit sucks because it's hella unfair. And to see, and it somehow, I look back on it and it just makes me think like, why do I get it goes back to like halfway, my song Halfway, like, why am I so privileged? Why me? And then that's when you look at like God and stuff, like, what's so right about me? Or what did I do right? Or what did my people do right that I have avoided all this shit? I'm not living this life and these people are, and that's not fair. It's not fair that I get to live this life and there's thousands, so much people who never see it, not even one day of my life.
And if you were to compare, you'd be like, they're way more deserving, huh? They've been nice, they've been good people all their life, and yet they get no reward for it. and then you see this shit happening in Florida. People work their ass off, right? All year, shit ton of years, and then they put this law. They put this law or say that, oh, you can't help these immigrants or you all these negative shit that impacts their state negatively. That's hell. This is so dumb. And now I don't know the numbers, but I wanna. It'd be tight to see how much money this costs.
Have they lost?
Yeah, it'd be tight.
It'd be a fuck ton.
Because they just fuck themselves like freaking Scarface said. You just fuck yourself, man. Like there's no, why would they do that? I was talking to a lady about it. I had to translate for a lady at work, and she told me she's from Cuba. She is originally from Cuba, but she said they used to live in Florida. They moved to Michigan
Recently?
Yeah, and she's like, she does Amazon. Like she just
sell shit on Amazon.
She just drives around,
she's a delivery.
Yeah,
okay.
And she was trying to get her car fixed or like repainted because she went to somebody's house and their dog jumped on the car and like scratched the door up. So Amazon was covering the damages, but she didn't speak English very good. So I was translating, and she was telling me like, it's horrible down there. She said it's not what it used to be, and she's like, everyone's leaving. Everyone that I know that we used to live in Florida, everyone moved out, but people are spread everywhere. But she just went to Michigan because she said she's been to Michigan multiple times and it's really quiet, so she fucked with it. But it's when you downgrade, because I wonder what the population in Florida now, like let's say there was like the total population of like Hispanics or Cubans or whatever, the immigrants were like, let's say they were in total like 30% of the population in Florida. How much down did it go just in the last whatever months that they said that they were going to do all that? People started evacuating because they didn't want to. They just out of just straight not supporting the state and say, fuck it, we're leaving then, because that's a lot of money. Yeah, there's taxes. Everybody pays taxes for all kinds of shit, and if they don't work there, they're not collecting taxes. They're not paying for nothing.
I wonder, because I haven't looked into it. I wonder how the state's reacting. Like, are they taking the shit back, or are they standing on 10 toes? What are they doing? Because it just seems like the only way to make motherfuckers learn is money. They have to lose money. Nobody gives a fuck about nothing. Like, when it comes to Mexicans, they don't give a fuck about us. It's all about money. So if they're losing money, it's not about if they want to. They have to. They have to change shit back.
And what are they gonna do? They're gonna say what they gotta. They can't just be like, never mind.
Yeah, because they're already gone.
Yeah, they're gone already. You gotta incentivize them to come back.
And the way you do that, it's kind of like what happened with the COVID shit. Remember, nobody wanted to get a job after COVID. Prices went up. Minimum wage went up. McDonald's is paying what now?
17, 18.
Some shit like that, because nobody wanted to get it. I think even certain restaurants were giving like $100 bonus just to come in to get an interview. Just to come in and get interviewed. And I'm like, they're desperate. And it's like, it shows you like, it just feels like our people are hella undervalued. And not just our people, a bunch of people who do work in these conditions and work for hella little pay. And then people still talk shit on them. When America is all about like the American dream and shit.
I know.
Everybody's immigrants. If you're in America, you're most likely an immigrant. So it's I don't know. It just seems like hella wrong. It seems I was thinking like, I was thinking this. We're so privileged in the U.S. that we don't sympathize no more. And I was thinking that like so many people that I see who are so blessed and have so much, they don't sympathize no more with nobody. And how the fuck have we gotten to a point where we don't sympathize with another human being? Like, people are getting killed and people don't give a fuck. They're like, fuck them. That's not our problem. Or like some shit. That's what everybody says, not our problem, not happening to me. But it's like, it can happen to you.
Yeah. People are
like, we've reached a fucked up period in time. And that's why people were saying, that's why when I hear about like God's coming back, Jesus, this is time, I'm like, we need him to. Thank you for listening to the AB podcast. You can follow us in the links below All our social medias are linked there. If you want to buy some merch, the merch that we're usually wearing in the podcast, you can buy it as well. The link will be below.